Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome to this Assault commentary, and it is going to be Zhong Kui. This is a god I wanted to make a video about for a couple, well, not a couple, numerous, for some time now. Words, they are difficult, but especially in Assault, because I feel like in Assault I've been with a lot of Kuis that just didn't really work out well on my team. Also a lot of Kuis that were on the enemy side and it didn't really work out. There have only been a couple of Kuis that I've seen that were performing quite well. And there are a couple of things that I feel like are things they have in common. And it's not so much the way they play, but also the way they build the god. So, Kui is an interesting god. For everyone that is not familiar with how Kui works, he wants to use his 1 and his 2 on a minion wave to get stacks for his passive, so he will get more protections. These protections will help him a lot, especially when he uses his ultimate, because those protections will be doubled once he uses his ultimate. This means that if he can get the stacks to if he can get himself to full stacks, which is 20 stacks, then he will be a very beefy mage. And especially if he uses his ultimate, then he's almost unstoppable, especially with a good healer on your side and some form of CC on your team. And we have the Nox, we have the Cabrakan, so decent kind of lockdown. That ultimate from Cabrakan, very good combination with my ultimate, because it kind of forces them in an awkward spot. Also, the build. So, the build is very important. This, what I pick up now, is not really a build I usually go for though. That's something you need to make sure that you understand. Getting a Divine Rune is only when you're against healers that are very, very potent, and in this case that's in hell on the enemy side. I don't want to deal with that heal from the get-go, so I picked up the Divine Rune immediately, just to make sure that he doesn't heal as much. They also have an Thanatos that can heal with his scythe, or by just killing our minions, so that's also something you want to consider. And as you can see, I can go for the stack. Looks like that Janus uses his ultimate. Okay, not sure why, but he did. Okay, whatever. Kui deals very badly against enemies that have a good lockdown. So if you look on our side, we have, for instance, the Nox. Kui is very bad against Nox because Kui is very predictable. Kui usually wants to go for that minion wave. If I use my 1, then it's obvious I'm going to use my 2 on a minion wave as well. Which is also something you can use to kinda take into consideration to outplay your opponent. So if I go for a 1 on the wave, then it's very obvious. But hold that thought, let's just go for this engagement. A lot of damage with my ultimate. My ultimate did finish it off. I didn't do the most damage. My team did an insane amount of damage, but was able to pick up that kill. And again, going back to that stacking. But if you are against a Kui, especially a Kui that doesn't have his boots finished off like I have and doesn't have any additional protections items, then you want to engage on him. If you have a lockdown, engage on him. A Kui without protections, if he can't stack up his passive, and he doesn't have protections or boots, then he is insanely squishy and easy to deal with until he gets his passive stacked up. So if you allow him to stack up his passive, he will be more difficult to deal with as the game continues. I'm already at 10 stacks, which they kind of allowed me to do. They don't have the best lockdown, I do admit that. If you're against, for instance, Susana O that can pull you out of position, a Nox that can combo you, think Emir Freeze with a wall. Sobek Block is also an interesting one. Same for the Hercules Pull push combination. There are a lot of kind of gods and abilities that can be very difficult for Kui to deal with. And the best way for you to deal with that is either get full boots. With full boots you'll be able to avoid a lot of their abilities and kind of maneuver your way to that minion wave. And with that, also make sure that you are not predictable. So if you throw out your 1, you don't immediately have to follow up with your 2. You can also wait like a couple of seconds, or just use your 3, or not your 3, just use your 2 on the melee minions. You don't get as much stacks, but you do get them safely, which is also very, very important. So that's a little tip I want to give you. If you go for a squishy build, don't go for the entire wave. They will just straight up kill you if you go for the entire wave to get all the stacks. Just go for that safe. Go for, like I'm going this time, well, safe, quote unquote, through the tornado of Kukulkan. I did heal up on the minion, so I was able to survive that tornado, but not the best example, I guess. But sometimes it's safer to go for just those melee minions, because you can get to them in a safe manner. You don't have to put yourself in an awkward spot. There's also another option, go for a more defense oriented build. It is also a very good option. It's something that I recommend if you don't go for movement speed immediately, or if the enemies have high burst, then that's a thing you can use to deal with that, as well as if they have a high amount of CCs. A couple of items you can pick up with Kui in the early game are, for instance, Heart of the Urchin is very good. Spirit Rope doesn't provide you any health, the Spirit Rope, but if you are against a lot of CC gods, then it will be very useful. If you get CC'd, that you will be able to sustain that damage a little bit longer. So, main point, if you play Kui, make sure that you get either defenses to start with, or a decent amount of movement speed so you can outmaneuver your opponents. I don't have insane movement speed, but I still have rank 2 boots, which sometimes people don't have. I see a lot of Kuis build a Chronos Pendant, and I don't recommend going for the Chronos Pendant. Even though it provides you mana and cooldown reduction, which is never a bad thing, it is not a good thing to pick up immediately. If you have Hearted on your team, you definitely don't need it. I don't recommend you getting it. It will just make you squishy. It only allows you to get rank 1 boots, which is not an awful lot of movement speed, and there are just way better items to get. In this case, Divine Rune, very good option. Other options are, like I mentioned, Height of the Urchin, other defense items. You can even go for something like a Gem of Isolation. It's a bit more risky, you don't have as much movement speed, you are not tanky, you have more health, so that's kind of the benefit you get from that one. And you have that slow component. So, you kind of want to choose your build to kind of make sure that it either helps you survive by having protections, movement speed, or additional health, or you need to play extremely careful. You always want to play careful with Kui in Assault, because they will look for that, especially if you're against very experienced players in Assault, then you know they are going for that Kui. Easy target, as you can see here as well. The enemy Janus went for that portal. He didn't connect it, but he went for me because he knew that I was going for that minion wave. So that's, yeah, Kui is an interesting one. But I don't recommend getting a Chronos Pendant. You're better off getting a Salvation if you really need the mana. And if you have an Archer on your team, you don't. You just don't need it. You just need to be a little bit more conservative if that's really getting you out of mana all the time. Okay, so enough about that. Let's just head back to this game. I'm doing pretty well for now. 3-0. Got a couple of last hits or just kills. Depends on how you look at it. Been part of every kill because I haven't died just yet. Oh, beautiful ultimate, not ultimate, stunned by the Bracken, and I'm able to use my ultimate. Not enough damage though, and I got pulled by the Ares. I didn't want to use my purification beads. Tanking up the tower for a little bit just to make sure that my team, well, if someone is in an awkward spot, they can just retreat immediately while I'm tanking. Looks like nobody is really low on HP except for the Hell, who is inside the Phoenix range. Wanted to probably suicide to get some items online, which is never a bad thing. Ooh, Nox is so dead. Let's run. Run away. We definitely can't do anything for her. I do have rank 2 boots, but it's not enough to run away from them with, especially with the Janus. So I do need to make sure that I get those tickets on them to kind of slow them a bit. But it doesn't look like they want to hard commit. Well, never mind. They didn't want to hard commit on me. They wanted to hard commit on the Ron. If I die, it's not the worst thing. Oh, I tried to avoid it to go into the death center. The eye of the storm. The eye of the unstable vortex. That's also a way you can avoid it. It's not always the best choice to go to the left or to the right. Sometimes it's better to go forward to be in that kinda Eye of the Storm, that little circle where he doesn't hit. It's difficult, and if you play against a... Oh, I'm so dead. I tried to avoid the scythe. He waited long enough for it to confirm it easily. I mean, I was against him, so yeah. That's unfortunate. Let's get that Gem of Isolation I was talking about. Will be useful, because we are against a couple of gods that rely on their movement speed a lot. Janus relies on it a lot, Kukulkan as well. Kukulkan has that slow immunity on his too, but he can only use it once, and if I have a ticket on him, that slow will last for ages. Ooh, nice engagement by the Hell, is able to get one of them. Uses Weakening Curse, Rama has turned up as well, a lot of damage on the Hell. Hell is taking a lot of damage as well, it's just barely surviving. That looks... I'm sorry, that just looked so funny. I mean, Hell just survived, and I was like, she probably played that way too aggressive and is lucky that she survives. And right as I'm thinking that, she literally gets hit by that Janus ultimate. That was... Oh man. That was... It was beautiful. But okay. The fourth item I went for is also one of those picks that really depends on your opponents in this case. Because if you look at the opponent's side, they have 4 magical. We do as well. The only physical they have is the Thanatos. But if there's only 1 physical on the opponent's side, and you are a god that needs to get close, then Voidstone is definitely a good one. It will provide that magical protection reduction to the enemies when I'm close to them, and that will help out our other magicals as well. So that is a good pickup. It provides me some protections, not insane. It doesn't provide me any additional health. So if they are really bursting you too quickly, go for something else. Go for a Bulwark of Hope, health, and a lot more protections. You can also go for a... can't come up with the name. I'll put it on the screen here. Magic. Okay, here it is. But it provides the healing reduction, which is also quite useful against the Hell. It provides a lot of magical protection, I think 80, as well as 200 additional health. So that's also a very good item if you want to go more tanky against those magicals. Those are kind of the items I would suggest if you really are feeling like you get bursted too quickly. And if the physicals are dealing too much damage, then there are a couple of other options. Or there are a lot of basic attackers on the opponent's side, then get, for instance, the Heart of the Nemean. Doesn't provide any health, but a lot of physical protection and return damage. Nice engagement by the Cabrakan. Ults the Ares. Ares ults me. I am just going to go for the engagement using my Purification to not get pulled. And a lot of damage on that Janus, slowing the enemies, forcing out the sprint as well. Stuck in the tornado, maybe I can get healed up. Doesn't look like I need it. I have enough protections to survive that for a little bit. Slowing the Ares for an insane amount. And will secure the kill with my 2. Getting a little bit healing for it as well. So that will make sure that we can engage a little bit longer. Let's get those stacks. Not so much for the stacks, but more for the healing. 3 minions is all you need for the maximum amount of healing you can get with your 1-2 combination. Which in my case did 360 HP. That's definitely not a bad amount. Let's heal up a little bit more. Get the stacks flowing. If you can get 3 stacks, it's not bad to get them. Trust me. Yeah, 5-1 in 10. It's going very well this game. We have a good combination to kind of lock down the enemy. And as you can see, a lot of damage. Slowing down the Janus as well. Locked down by the Nox. And it will secure the kill for us very easily. A lot of damage on them. And with that slow on my 1, it's just very difficult to deal with for them. I mean, it's the one on his own already slows, and with the gem in addition, it's an insane amount of slow. It is a lot of fun to get Gem of Isolation on Kui, especially with his ultimate. It's such a wide radius that you can hit a lot of your opponents and slow them. And if you get that ticket, then they will be slowed for such a long time. It's very annoying to deal with. It makes complete sense that they picked up a sprint. I'm not even sure if they picked only 1, maybe even more. Let's just look at the damage when I press that button. Press the button. Okay, GG first. Press the button. Okay. Decent amount of damage. Actually, most damage on my team. The Ram did a lot of damage as well. 6-1 and 11 was actually the same score as I had. So it was doing very well for himself as well. Yeah, it does look like they picked up 2 sprints. Definitely recommend it against this comp. I mean, I have to slow on my 1. Hell has a slow on her 2 as well. Roma Astra arrows can slow. But especially with my Gem of Isolation pickup, it's just insane. Also, it's a good counter for the Weakening Curse. If someone picks up Weakening Curse, you sprint, you can get out quite easily. So that is a way to kind of avoid that. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. I just now noticed that the Hell has a very, very, very awkward build. She doesn't have any boots. You can get away with a bootless build, so no boots. But then you need to get at least, I think, either Ritual Dagger, not Ritual Dagger, the same one in the tree of the, what's it called? Winged Blade? Winged Blade is a very good one, 10% movement speed. You also have the Rod of Sleepiest, which also provide 10% movement speed. If you get those two in combination, you're not only slow immune, you have 20% movement speed. Boots only provide 18, so you'll actually have more movement speed. So you don't need the boots. But definitely get some form of additional movement speed, because as hell, you can't rely on just your additional movement speed you get from healing yourself, because you won't have it all the time. But, it worked fine, I guess. She had a lot of protection, so give or take. It's kind of how you want to play her. I don't recommend it, but if she can make it work for her, I guess it's fine. But I guess she didn't, because we were able to win. But whatever. Anyway, hope you guys learned something about how to play Zhong Kui in Assault. This is maybe not the best example, because the enemies don't have that much of a lockdown. If you're against a lot of CCs, then you definitely either need a lot of protections and awareness, or a lot of movement speed and awareness, to make sure that you don't get CC'd in that minion wave, because you will get destroyed. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any requests, please let me know. And as always, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.